So, not too long ago, the Mountain West football schedule came out. When I say to you, a group of five team is going to make the playoff, who do you think of? Tulane, maybe? Boise State? Remember, SMU is not in the group of five. You can make the argument that the Mustangs are making a mistake of sorts going to the ACC, which is a very unstable conference. You got a 12-team playoff, and the highest-ranked group of five team gets in. SMU had a better path to the playoff in the AAC. But there are all sorts of perks, not really financial ones in the short term anyway, but they've got very deep pockets there in Dallas. That going to the ACC, short term, not the best thing for football. Long term, very well could be. But the two leagues that you naturally look at for who gets into the playoff from the group of five are the American Conference and the Mountain West. Now, you can't ignore the Sun Belt. You can't ignore Conference USA, who had the highest ranked group of five team last year. Liberty got in the Fiesta Bowl. They got beat pretty badly by Oregon, but the team was in. They took one of the 12 playoff spots. And at some point in time, I'm sure a group of five team will win a playoff game. I don't think they'll win a national championship, but they could get in there. If the group of five got into the 4-team playoff and beat a Notre Dame team that otherwise would have been, this was Cincinnati, of course, in the college football playoff, had they not lost that game, yeah, sure. Maybe. It could happen. It's possible. I don't know if this team is in the Mountain West this year. So the Mountain West schedule came out. And look, it depends on what other teams do. That is for sure. But Oregon State and Washington State have a scheduling alliance with the Mountain West. They're not actually a part of the Mountain West. They cannot play for the conference championship game. So the Beavs and the Cougs can only really play spoiler as it pertains to the Mountain West's playoff hopes. But what do you think your record needs to be? If you're a Mountain West Conference champion, you've played 13 games in the regular season. What do you think you need to be in order to outrank either the Sun Belt, Conference USA, or American Conference champion? Probably at least 10-3, right? That's probably a baseline of where you have to be. 11-2 is likely preferable to ensure you get above that mark. And even that, look at SMU last year, 11-2, a couple of Power 5 losses, a win over Tulane in the American Conference Championship game, and they were outranked by Liberty from Conference USA by lieu of, what the CFP director said. They just kept winning. You can't write that stuff. You cannot script that stuff any better. Florida State left out. Liberty, they just kept winning. It's epic stuff. But this is a beautiful, wonderful sport, the greatest sport in the world. It's not the most well-run or most well-managed. So when you think about the Mountain West and sending a team to the playoff, who are you thinking of there? Well, your typical cast of characters, your Boise States and your Fresno States and Air Force. And what is UNLV going to do? They lose their quarterback, but Barry Odom and their coaching staff are still in place. So, I don't know, maybe the Rebels can surprise some people here or there. Wyoming's got a new coach. They've been pretty good. I don't know if I can expect a conference championship there. Timmy Chang at Hawaii in year 3, do they pop? I don't know. We'll see what they do week 2 at home against UCLA. That's kind of a fascinating game. But Boise State, Fresno State, those are the teams that regularly appear in the Mountain West Conference Championship game. In fact, they did a season ago. Neither one of these teams has a schedule that screams to me 10-2 regular season. Why? Here's Boise State's first 2 weeks. At Georgia Southern, a respectable team in the Sun Belt. At Oregon. Yikes. I mean, major yikes. Then they come back home, they get Portland State, and then they play Washington State? Excuse me? Those first 4 games could quite easily be 2-2 for Boise State. And then they'd have to run the table to get to that 10-2 mark. They'd have to win all of these games at UNLV, at Hawaii. They'll probably be okay there. They have to go at Wyoming, by the way. I just want to let that hang out there because I watched Texas Tech lose at Wyoming last year. Could Boise State do it? Yeah. Crazier things have happened in college football. Oh, did I mention that Boise State hosts Oregon State in the final week of the regular season? So let's say they get through Georgia Southern. That's good and fine. Between Oregon State, Washington State, both of which are at home, that's important, and at Oregon, they've got to win at least one of those games. And they cannot go 0 for 3 there. I think Boise State with Malachi Nelson, Spencer Danielson coming in after being the interim coach last year, leading to a Mountain West championship game. Yeah, I not just a game, but a championship, rather. They won the game, of course. Yeah, that schedule is not exactly a cakewalk. I can see Boise State going 10-2. Our friends at FanDuel haven't posted lines for anybody in the Mountain West or Oregon State, Washington State. I would very much be curious to see where it'd be. I imagine Boise State's win total there is 8.5. That'd be my guess. That'd be my guess. Now, Air Force was a very good team last year, talked about as a dark horse playoff team after they got off to the undefeated start. I think in the modern era, you can clearly win games and play at a good level running the triple option. There's a ceiling. There's a ceiling. That's the way I feel. Troy Calhoun, outstanding football coach. Really, really good. As long as you're running the triple option, don't know if I can see you running the table sufficiently, but they'll be a contender. They go at Baylor week 3. That's when we'll know. That's when we'll know if Air Force is going to be that sort of team. After their bye, they then have to go on the road again to Wyoming. That's a tough stretch. That's a really, really tough stretch. And then to end the season, they go like this. Fresno State, Oregon State, at Nevada, at San Diego State. Now, the latter two are, of course, rebuilding programs. It's also back-to-back road games. Winning on the road doesn't always come easily. So that could be a tough one. How about Fresno State? They start week 1 at Michigan. Good luck. Good luck. Seriously, you're going to need it to go at Michigan. I know they're not the same team. It's still Michigan at the big house. That's a tough way to start a year. Fresno State then goes at home against Sac State. New Mexico State at New Mexico at UNLV. Week 5 in the Mountain West. That's a spicy game as it pertains to the conference championship. Then a bye. Get this. At UNLV, bye, host Washington State. Does that sound like an easy game? Not particularly. But wait, there's more. They have to go at Air Force on November 9th, then a bye, and then they host Colorado State, who we know can certainly get a team or two. They got Boise State last year. They very nearly got Colorado in Boulder. And then they go at UCLA, final week of the regular season. That Fresno State schedule is interesting. Very, very interesting. But again, who's going 10-2 in there? Look, somebody certainly can. But is it going to be easy? As Jordan Belfort said, minus one word, absolutely not. Appreciate everyone listening. I'll see you next time. And until then, hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.